Hi, it's Greg Schneider of Battle Tested Solutions. So, many people have asked me, why battle tested? I've had this brand, if you will, for about 5 years now. And I've gotten questions over time of like, well, that sounds, or comments rather, that sounds kind of aggressive, battle tested. Or are you trying to prove something? Are you being the big alpha dog or something like that? And that's not really the case. I arrived at Battle Tested Solutions based on many years of conducting security assessments, from deep, in-depth enterprise-level assessments that affect corporations, to single-site facility assessments, to assessing response times of security officers and first responders. I've seen it all pretty much. And I arrived to a conclusion that there are many security risks that the stakeholders of corporations and or properties just assume. So what do I mean by that? Well, often security is deployed by the demand of insurance and risk management and as some kind of loss control measure, be it car break-ins. Well, we don't want any car break-ins and have to pay out on that, so let's lower our premiums by having security officers, video surveillance, access control, patrols, whole 9 yards to mitigate, I'd say, a car break-in at an industrial parking lot. Or other types of crimes, be it a robbery or people milling about, vagrants, whatever the case is. Companies put forth various measures, it could be policies, procedures, people, equipment, to mitigate certain threats or risks to their businesses. So, what certain risks do certain companies assume? So, for example, well, a big one is active shooter. So, yes, it's a it's a low probability, high consequence event, to the point where many corporations and businesses say, you know what? We're going to assume that someone will come in, a gun blazing or a knife wielding person, or take a truck and ram through our parking lot and into our lobby. We're assuming that risk. We have security to mitigate what compliance tells us to mitigate, but we're assuming that's not really going to happen here. And that could be quite valid in many cases. I arrived at battle tested, often based on the Israeli model. So, well, in Israel, I spent many years and learned from some of the best in the business in terms of protecting assets and people and organizations and you name it. So in Israel, we take that approach of, well, let's look at all of our threats. It could be a threat of a hostile surveillance, threat of one person trying to infiltrate or break into a corporate site or a campus. Or it could be 2 people, or it could be 3. It could go on. So let's prepare for that worst case scenario, however limiting it might be. And hence, I arrived at Battle Tested Solutions. So what I offer isn't necessarily an over-the-top solution to all sorts of threats, but a way of target hardening an enterprise. So if in fact that remote chance of 2 shooters coming into a facility, there is a resource on site to mitigate such a thing. Well, how does that happen? Well, we have to do a deep dive into risk assessments and so on and so forth, and that's another video coming out soon. But we have to, it starts with the people. So imagine your security staff who do their patrols, are nice, provide good customer service. But let's say there's an individual that, or 2 or 3, that may not be in the best physical standards, may not be aware, may not know where to identify where someone could conduct a hostile surveillance. They're just there because they meet a minimum standard. The company says, okay, we need to put these people here based on our compliance. So yes, we're using this person to help be a visual deterrent. But if God forbid, someone who's more aggressive wants to enter a protected environment, we're assuming that risk. Because there's a point of observe and report, and there's a point of having the capabilities to deny an intruder onto your property. So with that mindset in mind, I created battle-tested solutions. And again, very customizable. For if it's a library, I'm not requiring anyone to be prepared for an onslaught of invaders, so to speak, but a vigilance. And that vigilance has to meet, within a good standard, the perceived threats. So this is my little spiel on battle-tested solutions. My next video coming out, in perhaps a week or so, will be about a risk assessment. What is involved with a risk assessment? And this will open some eyes. Thanks again, and please follow me at either LinkedIn, Greg Schneider, or on Instagram at Battle-Tested Security, and anywhere else where my name might pop up. Thanks, and have a good day.